Hey guys, it's Melissa here from melissaoatman.com. Welcome to Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness, a daily podcast devoted to spirituality and self-help. If you're new, I want to welcome you. If you're returning, welcome back. So today I wanted to again start with a quote that I saw, because when I saw it immediately, I had chills and I thought, yes, this is what so many people I think are missing. So the quote that I saw on Facebook was, if you had $86,400 and someone stole $60, would you throw away $86,340 for revenge or move on and live? Each of us have 86,400 seconds every day. Don't let someone's negative 60 seconds ruin the remaining 86,340. Life is bigger than you. Life is bigger than that, and so are you. And I love that, and it's so true. And every day we have an opportunity to either allow someone else's negative behavior or negative attitude to affect us, or we can choose to walk away knowing that what other people do, their actions, their words, are more about themselves than it is us. And I was a person who didn't understand that for a long time. I would take everything people did personally. If someone critiqued me or they said something rude, I would just crumble. I would be like, why don't they like me? Because I was a people pleaser. I would say, well, why was this person rude to me? Even passing someone in the hall, and you know this, you've all experienced this. You pass someone, and if you're like me, I am the type of person, I'm going to smile and say hi to everybody I see because it's just who I am. It's just what I do. And I've come across people, when you smile at them and you say hi, they just don't even do anything, or they just look like they're mad. And I used to take that personally, like, oh my gosh, like what? I guess that person doesn't like me. And what I've come to realize and understand, the more I've been here on this earth and have been experiencing life, is that other people's reactions to me aren't always about me. For example, the people that I would pass by and they wouldn't smile, I'd be like, oh my gosh. Well, I started becoming an observer. And I would realize that I was not the only person they did that to. They wouldn't say hi to anyone. It wasn't just me. So what that tells me is, my gosh, either that person is so awkwardly shy that they just can't smile and say hi back, which some people are. Some people suffer from social anxiety and they can't muster up the courage to smile and say hi back, which seems weird to most of us. But if you've ever suffered from that, you understand that it's like they're being vulnerable, just putting themselves out there to say hi. But also, some people are just unhappy and miserable all the time. And it doesn't have anything to do with you. It has everything to do with their own mindset and their own lives. There are people you can be as nice as pie to, and they will hate you because you're nice. There are people out there like that because your positivity is irritating to them. It's irritating. And you might think to yourself, well, who wouldn't like somebody who's nice? Somebody who is miserable and suffering inside would not like someone who's nice, because it would be a reminder for them that they're not that nice, or that the people who surround them in their own lives are not that nice. So don't take that personally. And that's really difficult to do, but it is so important, because you will drive yourself crazy if you try to figure out, like, why doesn't this person like me? Why don't they like me? I remember I used to love watching The Golden Girls. It was one of my favorite shows. And I remember there was an episode where Rose, one of her neighbors, or her coworkers, I guess, didn't like her, and she spent like the entire episode trying to get this woman to like her. And I think at the very end, she's just like, you're just a mean person. And that's how we are. Like, when we're trying to get somebody who's just a miserable person to like us, you're wasting your time and energy. And that's exactly what this quote is saying. Don't waste your precious time in life trying to make people like you who are never going to. And I don't say that to be mean, like, well, they're never going to like me. I myself, personally, have just put this out there that there are going to be people who don't like you. And there will be people who, when they see your success, they're going to be jealous and angry and mad at you because they don't want to see you succeed. That intimidates people when they see others succeeding. Like most normal people, when you see others succeed, you'd be like, oh, yay for her. That's so awesome. I love that. But not everybody does, because people who are insecure within themselves are not going to be happy when they see you succeeding. And that's like a trigger. You're triggering them, honestly. So you have to consider that. I know this has been a lesson for me, a huge lesson, because like I said, I used to care what everyone thought. I was like, oh my gosh, I hope they like me. I hope they don't say anything bad. I hope they think I'm a good person. And, I would just get so obsessed with it. And now I'm just like, whatever. And I don't mean it in a bad way, but it's just, I'm not going to spend an extra ounce of my energy to go out and care and try to like win people over. I don't have the time or energy, first of all. I've got way too much going on in my life for me to care what one or two people think. I don't. And I don't say that to be mean. I say it as someone who has realized that what other people think of me, number one, is none of my business. And number two, does not define my worth. So if someone comes up to me and is like, you're the worst, I hate you, your podcast sucks, and your book sucks, and whatever, I would be like, shocked probably, but I would be like, okay, that's fine. That's fine that you think that. I mean, I've come a long way even in just the past few months, because I've told you before that someone left a review about my dogs barking in the background. And I tried to be more conscious about it just because I thought, well, that is good feedback that, maybe I should just be editing whenever they interrupt. I've got to go back and edit. That's fine. It's just a little more work for me, which is no problem. And then I did a podcast interview with Julia Treat the other day because she had me on to talk about my book because I had worked with her in the past. And her dog started barking at one point, and of course, Nala started it, right? Of course she did. Nala started barking, and then her dog started barking, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And she's like, no, we just have pups. We have pups. Who cares? That's it. We just have pups, people. And the way she was just like, we're brushing it off like no big deal. I'm like, yeah, that's amazing. She's right. Okay, I'm a single mom who works from home, who doesn't have a private podcast studio that has the padded walls or whatever. I don't have the soundproofing room. I'm just me. I'm just doing what I do. And if people don't like that and they don't resonate with me, they can just move on to someone else, and that's okay. But if you're like me, like the super polished person doesn't really resonate with me because I'm like, that doesn't seem attainable. Like perfection, what is that? So for me, if I mess up, and I like can't think of a word, or I don't go back and record that or re-record it anymore, because I'm just like, you know what? That's just me. I'm not a perfect person, and I never will be. I can always strive to be the best version of myself, but I'm not perfect. So who cares? And you shouldn't worry about that either. But I think we spend so much of our time and energy worrying what other people think about us. And it's just not productive. Who cares what someone thinks about you? And that's something that has taken me a long time to understand. Because like I said, if somebody would have been like, oh, I hate you, or I thought someone hated me, I would have been mortified. I would have like curled up and gone back into my little shell. Like, why don't they like me? And trying to figure out what I could do to make them like me. And that is just a waste of my time. It's a waste of my resources, because I have enough people who surround me who are awesome. I don't need to have every single person like me. It doesn't matter. And just look on Facebook and all of the posts you see. There are people who are not going to like anything. The government could come out and be like, we're going to give everyone $20,000 to start their lives, and people would be like, oh my gosh, where's that money coming from? Someone would gripe about it. And I say that because it's true. Some people are going to be not happy no matter what. There are people like that out there. It's really hard to imagine, if you're a people pleaser or a reformed people pleaser, that people like that will just dislike everything, but they are out there and you know those people. And the reason, like I said, that they don't like things is because they're unhappy with themselves. People who are happy do not need to put other people down. They don't. They're just like, what's the point of that? That's a waste of my time and energy. I mean, think about the energy that it takes to go out and say mean things about people. That takes a lot of energy. And what I think that we don't understand is, you might think you're innocently just going out and gossiping about someone or saying something mean, but it comes back to you, number one, because what we put out comes back to us. And you're depleting your own energy when you do that, because that's very low vibrational stuff. When you go out and you're like gossiping and saying terrible things about people, it's not productive and it's actually lowering your frequency. And if you're hoping to manifest things and you're hoping to live a great life, you can't be doing that. You've got to keep your thoughts positive. And even when people are rude to you and they wrong you, don't try to seek revenge, because that just steals your energy and it wastes your time. And like I said, at the end of the day, what you put out comes back to you. And what that person put out comes back to them. So if they do something to you and then you do something back to them, you're both going to get your karma. And it's going to be negative. But if they do something to you and you turn the other cheek and you say, you know what, I'm above that and I don't have the energy to deal with that, and I'm sorry that person feels that way, but it's not going to affect me and I'm going to walk on, they're going to get their karma in a negative way and you're going to get positive karma. Good things are going to come back to you. It's like that ripple effect, you know? I mean, think about it. You can go out and every day you have to deal with the public, and that can be a toss-up experience, let me tell you. You go out and you deal with people and they've already had a whole day. So by the time that you get to them and you deal with them, you don't know what you're going to get, because other people may have been mean to them or rude to them. But you go deal with someone and they're totally mean and rude to you. If you continue back with that, then we're sending out a ripple effect of negativity. You know, it's like when I go to work. If I have a bad day, you know, if my kids are just like, if it's a full moon, teachers and nurses can tell you when it's a full moon, because we know immediately by the behavior of students and patients, it's just what it is. So when it's a full moon and my students have been off the wall and act like they've had 15 energy drinks and it's all I can do to like get a lesson in and have them pay attention, and I come home exhausted because all I've done was like, I've been on stage all day trying to get them to cooperate and do something and learn. And then I come home and I'm totally drained of my energy. I could either continue, you know, having negative energy by, you know, if my kids annoy me, I can start yelling at them and letting them know I've had a bad day and start saying mean things to them about why is your room messy, and, you know, I could be very crabby with them. But that doesn't do anything positive either, and then it makes them crabby and upset, and they turn around and are crabby and mean to their friends, and it just sends out a ripple of negativity. Or when I meet someone who is negative, sometimes what I do is I'll send out vibes to that person. I'll just be like, I hope you're having a better day, and I'm sending you love and positive vibes. And that may sound, you may be like, whatever, lady. But it actually does work. We were out somewhere last weekend and we had a waitress who was like just crabby from the minute we sat down. You know, she's just like, you would think she didn't understand that she was working for tips. But she just crabbed at us like from the moment we sat down. For a good probably 10 minutes, she was very crabby. So I was just like, okay, I'm going to send this one some positive vibes. She needs it. She's having a bad day. And we weren't like rude back to her or anything. We were just trying to, you know, deal actually with having a crabby waitress. And we're like, oh, it's okay, you know. And so I just kind of sent some positivity, in my mind. I'm just like, okay, angels be with her, surround her, give her some positive vibes because she seems really upset and down. And I don't know what's happened to her. She may, who knows? Because maybe she got crabbed at by like 10 people before we walked in the door. And pretty soon, she all of a sudden got friendly and was calling everyone sweetheart and dear. And like a total turnaround. And my mom's like, well, that was a change. And I just leaned over and whispered, yeah, I sent her some positive vibes. And my mom started laughing and she's like, way to go. So we laughed about that. But you can actually like send positivity to people when you know they need it. Wouldn't that be a better thing to do than to just continue the cycle of negativity? And I'm guilty of when people get crabby with me, like crabbing right back at him, but that doesn't do anything positive. It really doesn't. And when it's shocking, I guess, when you run into people who are just rude for no reason. Like I remember we would go to Disney all of the time when my kids were little. We loved it. We would like rotate. We'd either go to Disneyland or Disney World, and it was just awesome. And that is the most shocking thing when you run into an employee at Disney that's not kind. It's like, whoa, what the heck? We're supposed to be in the most magical place on earth. What's with your attitude? But the thing is, they're still humans, and they probably, again, all the people who go to Disney are not magical. Let me tell you that. We've run into rude people at Disney. And so maybe they, have had to deal with people who are yelling at them too. But it's just like shocking when you see it. You're like, oh my gosh, wow, that person was kind of rude. But we can either continue that and be rude back to them, or we can just say, you know what, angels, give them some love. They need some love. They need some positive vibes. They're having a bad day, because we've all been there. We know what that's like. You know what it's like when you've had to deal with just awful people all day, and then you take it out on someone who didn't really do anything to you. So you can either choose to waste more energy being negative and mean and nasty, or you can let it go and just, sometimes they even say things to them like, oh, I hope you're not having a bad day, or something, just to try to bring them out of that negative funk that it looks like they're in. And you know what? People appreciate that. And I'm not the most necessarily like outgoing person. I know you're all like, what? What do you mean? Like I can be shy. And whenever I go somewhere and like I don't necessarily always feel like, oh, I need to say something, but sometimes I will if I feel like, oh, that person needs somebody to say something positive to them. And I might even just say something like, oh my gosh, I really love your shirt, or, whatever. And it really does break that cycle of negativity, because, you might be the only one who's asked that person about their day, who made them smile, whatever. But it's bringing positivity back. And that's so worth it. It's always worth it to do that. Don't waste your time being mean, being vengeful, being upset, being obnoxious. Just don't. The world needs nicer people. My sister posted something the other day on Facebook, and it was a hat that said, "Make America nice again." And I thought, yes, exactly that. We need the world to be a nice place again. There's too much anger and hate and bitterness. And the fact that people can't even have conversations about politics or religion and agree to disagree without attacking someone else personally is just beyond me. Why can't you have a conversation where I don't agree with you, but I still love you and I'm going to be kind to you? Because we don't have to have the same opinions. Your upbringing and everything else influences what your opinions are. So it would be just very odd for you to share all of the same opinions with someone else. The numbers just are not in your favor. So why would we think that we would have to attack people if they don't agree? There's no need for that. No need at all. Someone having a different opinion does not make them a lesser person. It just means that they've had different experiences than you have. And we can have a different opinion without making it a thing, We can say, I respectfully disagree with you. Not, you're a total idiot, because that's what I see all the time on social media. Like, if I don't have the same opinion, you must be a total moron. What? When did it come to insulting someone? Why do you have to do that? Again, only people who are insecure have to resort to that, because everyone else knows you can disagree thoughtfully and intelligently and without name calling. Sorry, I just had to put that out there because I've been seeing so much of that lately, and it's really, really annoying. And which is why sometimes I have to take a break from social media. It's hard because if you have a business, you have to be on social media a lot. But sometimes I have to disconnect and take a break because I get tired of seeing the negative stuff. When you're reading all of the negative all of the time, it does affect your energy. So it's important to really be careful about what you're seeing and what you're watching and what you're reading and what you're feeding your soul, because that's what you're doing. You're feeding your mind and your soul with all the stuff you're taking in. And if it's all negative, that's going to bring you down. Disconnect once in a while. It's worth it. All right, guys. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this podcast. As always, if you enjoy my podcast, please subscribe. Please share it with others. Please leave a review from wherever you're listening. Thank you so much to those of you who've already done that. I really appreciate it. I do go and read my reviews. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I love that. Thank you. I wanted to pull a card for you too before I ended my podcast today. So the card I pulled is from The Universe Has Your Back by Gabrielle Bernstein. And it's my energy creates my reality. What I focus on is what I will manifest. And that's so true. It's why you have to keep your thoughts positive. If you are trying to manifest and your thoughts are negative, you're going to manifest the negative. So you've got to focus on the positive. You've got to quit thinking about the doubts and the what ifs and the what'll happen if it fails. And you've got to start thinking about all of the ways that it will succeed, because it will. You are co-creating with the universe, and the universe wants to bring you everything your little heart desires. You have to believe that you're worth it and that it's on its way. All right. Well, I have an exciting announcement. You all know that my book, Beautifully Broken, is out for purchase, but I am going to have a contest, and I'm so super excited about this. If you purchase my book and you post on social media that you have purchased the book. So what I want you to do is to take a picture of yourself with the book and then leave a little blurb about the book, like a little review of the book, on your social media. And I am going to pick a couple of people. I don't know how many yet, but I'm going to pick a couple of people for a free service of your choice. So you can pick a Reiki session, a card reading, or a coaching session. I'm going to do those 3. So you can take your pick of what you want if you win. So what that means is when you get the book, just take a picture of yourself reading the book or with the front cover of the book. Give me a little shout out and a blurb about the book, and post it not only on your social media, but then take a screenshot of your social media and share it on my Facebook page or my Instagram. And I am going to select a few winners for a free either coaching, Reiki, or a reading. So I will let you choose, if you win, which one you want. All right, so that is super exciting. I'm so excited about my book. So thank you to those of you who have already messaged me telling me you purchased it. It's amazing. There's so many of you. I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. If you know anyone who has been through a breakup, this book can help. And even if it's not a breakup, even if it's just you've gone through a dark place in your life, this book can help you. So many tips, and it has journaling moments, so many tools that you can use to help you. And it's not just for women, guys. If you want the book, please get the book. It's told from my point of view, and I happen to be a woman, but it's for men too. Anyone can read this book and it will help you. Don't forget to follow me on social media. I go live on Facebook and now Instagram. I was posting videos, but I'm doing my first live, and that's where I also announced the contest. So follow me on Instagram and Facebook. All of my social media information is in the description to the podcast, along with the links to order my book and how you can work with me. So my website is there too. So if you want to work with me, simply go to melissaoatman.com. There you will see the list of services that I offer, along with a description and the pricing. You can purchase from my website, and then when you want to book it, simply contact me and we will set up your appointment. All right, guys, I love you so much. I want to thank you for being here with me. I hope that you have a magical day filled with so many blessings and miracles, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.